She balanced 5 heavy trays on her arms like it was nothing. The billionaire was mocking her, laughing with his elite circle of friends in the most exclusive restaurant in New York City. He leaned back in his leather chair and asked the waitress, what did she, of all people, think about his $50 billion merger? It was meant to be a cruel joke. But she spoke 6 words that froze every glass mid-toast. 6 words that would shatter a criminal empire built on lies. 6 words that would rewrite both their destinies forever. She said, "You're walking straight into a trap." What the billionaire didn't realize was that the woman pouring his vintage Bordeaux had once orchestrated trillion-dollar trades with nothing but a spreadsheet and sheer genius. She had been one of the sharpest minds on Wall Street until the man behind this merger ruined her life and forced her underground. Now, 4 years later, she was ready for payback. And it would be devastatingly perfect. This is the true story of the waitress who remembered everything. Stay with me, because what happens next will leave you breathless. Welcome to Voice of Granny. While you're here, please hit that subscribe button, like the video, and drop a comment. What do you think of this story? And tell me, where are you watching from today? Let me introduce you to a woman named Sofia Marquez. At 32, her world had narrowed to the polished marble floors and crystal chandeliers of Billionaire, the most elite restaurant in Manhattan. This wasn't just any dining spot. This was where hedge fund kings dropped 6 figures on dinner and complained if the caviar wasn't chilled to exactly 42 degrees. Sofia was flawless at her job. She glided between tables like smoke, silent, efficient, invisible. That's precisely what she needed. To disappear. To be forgotten. But Sofia hadn't always been a waitress. No, her past was far more dangerous. 4 years earlier, she was Sofia Valdez, a rising star at Pinnacle Capital, one of the most feared investment firms on the street. Her mentor was Marcus Langford, a legend whose name alone moved markets. Marcus wasn't just her boss. He was her guide, the father figure who taught her how money really worked in the shadows. Sofia built something extraordinary for him. An algorithm so sophisticated it turned modest investments into billions almost overnight. She trusted him with her life. She thought he trusted her the same way. Then she discovered the truth. Marcus wasn't building wealth ethically. He was skimming fractions of pennies from millions of trades, tiny thefts that added up to hundreds of millions, funneled into secret offshore trusts. It was elegant. It was criminal. And Sofia saw every thread because she had woven the system herself. She was 28, idealistic. She thought he'd be grateful. She thought he'd correct the error. Instead, Marcus turned on her like a predator. He funneled the stolen funds into accounts in her name. He forged emails that made it look like she orchestrated everything. He planted digital breadcrumbs that led straight to her. When the SEC and FBI came knocking, they came for Sofia Valdez, not Marcus Langford, the man whose face graced every finance cover from Forbes to Bloomberg. Who would the world believe? A young analyst or the titan who built an empire? Sofia ran. She drained her savings, changed her last name to Marquez, her grandmother's maiden name, dyed her hair darker, and vanished into the crowds of New York. The genius who once commanded billions now counted singles in tips. Every night she returned to a cramped studio apartment and watched Marcus rise higher. Interviews, awards, glory, while she wondered if this was her life forever. Until one rainy October evening changed everything. Le Lumiere's most coveted table, number 12 by the window, was reserved for Victor Harrington. Yes, the restaurant was owned by his family. Victor Harrington was one of the wealthiest men alive. Harrington Global controlled so much capital that when he blinked, entire sectors flinched. Tonight, he was in high spirits, surrounded by his cousin Lucas, a sharp-eyed advisor named Claire, and 2 associates who hung on his every word. They were celebrating a colossal deal. Victor was about to acquire Nexus Dynamics, a cutting-edge AI firm, for $50 billion. $50 billion. The number alone could buy countries. Sophia was carrying trays of lobster thermidor when she passed their table. Her arms burned, but she never faltered. Then Lucas, already deep in champagne, spotted her. "Uncle Victor," he slurred loudly, "you always say listen to the little people. Why not ask her? The waitress must have brilliant insights on your mega deal. I'm sure the kitchen staff has strong opinions on AI valuations." The table erupted in laughter. Victor leaned back, amusement in his eyes. He glanced at her name tag. "Sophia," he said, loud enough for nearby tables to hear. "You serve wine and clear plates. What's your expert take on a $50 billion acquisition?" Time froze. Sophia stood still, trays balanced perfectly. She was supposed to smile politely, say, "I wouldn't know, sir," and vanish. But then Lucas mentioned Marcus Langford, said he had been circling Nexus too, almost like a rival. Something inside Sophia cracked open. She turned slowly. She didn't look at Victor. She looked at the stack of confidential documents peeking from his open briefcase. "You're walking straight into a trap," she said, voice calm and clear. The laughter vanished. Glasses hovered midair. The entire room seemed to hold its breath. Victor sat up. The playful glint in his eyes turned razor sharp. "What did you just say?" Sophia met his gaze. For 4 years she had buried her mind. But these men had invoked Marcus's name. They had reminded her of the fire inside. "I said you're being set up," she repeated. "You think you're buying revolutionary AI. What you're really buying is a house of cards built on hidden liabilities. Marcus Langford isn't your rival. He's the architect of your destruction." A fork clattered onto porcelain. No one moved. Victor wasn't foolish. He hadn't built a fortune by dismissing warnings, even from waitresses. "Keep talking," he said, voice low and serious. The joke was over. Sophia set the trays down carefully. Her hands were steady. For the first time in years, she felt powerful. "Nexus looks pristine on the surface," she continued. "But their core assets have been stripped and parked in a shadow entity called Eclipse Ventures. Marcus has been colluding with Nexus's CFO for over a year. They've inflated valuations, buried debts in offshore vehicles, faked patents. The plan is elegant. You close the deal. 6 weeks later, Eclipse declares insolvency. The hidden debts avalanche onto Harrington Global. Nexus becomes worthless. You lose $30 billion overnight. Your credit collapses. Your board panics. And while you're reeling, Marcus launches a hostile takeover, buying your empire at fire sale prices." Silence swallowed the room. Lucas's mouth hung open. Claire looked like she'd seen a ghost. Victor whispered, "Eclipse Ventures, that's on page 400. Buried in the annex. Nobody reads that far. Marcus counts on it," Sophia said. "He's arrogant. He reuses patterns. I recognize them because I helped design the original framework." Victor reached into his pocket, pulled out a platinum card, and tossed it on the table. "Lucas, pay the bill. All of it. Claire, associates, get out. You're done here." "But Victor," one began. "Out," he roared. They scattered like leaves in wind. Victor turned to Sophia. His eyes were steel. "You have 10 seconds. My car is waiting. You're coming with me. Refuse, and I'll have this restaurant blacklisted by morning, and I'll find you anyway." "Who are you?" he asked. Sophia untied her apron and let it fall. "My name is Sophia Valdez," she said. "And Marcus Langford didn't just compete with me. He destroyed everything I was. The drive-through rain-slicked Manhattan was silent. Sophia stared out at blurred lights, still in her uniform, sitting in a car worth more than most buildings. They arrived at Harrington Tower, a monolith of black glass piercing the sky. Guards stared at her outfit but said nothing. Private elevator to the penthouse floor. Victor's office was vast, floor-to-ceiling windows showing the city like a glittering kingdom. Dim lights, Victor commanded. The room darkened. Secure the floor. A soft click. They were alone. Sophia Valdez, Victor said. The analyst who allegedly embezzled $1.2 billion from Pinnacle Capital. The woman who vanished before trial. I was framed, she replied flatly. Everyone claims that. I don't need your belief, she said, walking to the window. You asked who I am. I told you. You asked how I know your deal. I'm telling you. Marcus was my mentor. I built the algorithm that made him untouchable. When I uncovered his thefts, he framed me, fake accounts, forged documents, perfect lies. I was nobody. He was Marcus Langford. So I disappeared. She turned, eyes fierce. 4 years of hidden. Watched him celebrated. Counted pennies while he collected billions. Tonight, your cousin said his name. You talked about the deal. I saw the papers. I saw my own fingerprints in the structure. He's using the same playbook. Shells, transfers, illusions. I built it. I can break it. Victor poured 2 glasses of water. Handed her one. If you're right, you just saved my legacy, he said. But you've also confessed to being a fugitive. Why expose yourself? Because Marcus used my code, my signature, my life, she said. And I'm done hiding. He took everything. Tonight he tried to take you the same way. Using my work. Victor studied her. All right, Sophia Valdez. You want back in, you're in. But some of my own people might be compromised. You'll fight Marcus, and possibly my team. Sophia smiled. A cold, determined smile. Give me a terminal. Give me 96 hours. I'll prove it all. Continuing the story with expanded scenes. The 92nd floor was the nerve center, rows of analysts staring at screens, numbers dancing like fireflies. When Victor arrived at 3 a.m. with a woman in a waitress uniform, the room froze. Everyone, Victor announced. This is Sophia Valdez. Special advisor. Full access. Whatever she needs. A tall woman in a tailored suit stood. Rebecca Klein, head of due diligence. She stared at Sophia with disdain. Special advisor. Rebecca sneered. Victor. Respectfully, who is this? The person who might save us from disaster, Victor replied. Set her up. Now. Rebecca led Sophia to a workstation, smirking. Guest access won't get you into encrypted Nexus files. Sophia sat. Fingers flew. 30 seconds later, she was inside restricted folders. Rebecca paled. Lock my station, Sophia said. No one sees my screen. Bring black coffee. And I want physical copies, every printed Nexus statement. For 8 hours, Sophia dove deep. She traced wires to dead-end accounts, pulled satellite photos showing Nexus labs were empty warehouses, cross-checked valuations against real patents. Everything confirmed her suspicions, but the final proof, the encrypted master file, was locked behind biometrics. She needed an insider. She spotted Rebecca and Victor's CFO, Edward Grant, whispering in a corner, glaring. An idea ignited. You're right, Rebecca, Sophia said suddenly. I'm stuck. No final proof. Rebecca smiled triumphantly. Told you. We've vetted this for months. But while searching, Sophia continued casually, I found unrelated wires. Monthly payments from Horizon Digital to a private account. Same routing as your payroll, Rebecca. Rebecca froze. Horizon Digital traces back through proxies, Sophia whispered. To Marcus Langford. Rebecca's face drained of color. You're the gatekeeper, Sophia said. You buried the red flags. You approved the audits. And you're the biometric key to the final file. You're delusional, Rebecca stammered. Go ahead, call security, Sophia said. But I already moved every cent from Horizon into an SEC escrow. Your payoff is gone. Unlock the file. Save yourself. Rebecca looked around. Analyst staring, Edward sweating, Victor watching from above. Trapped, Rebecca walked to her station, scanned her thumb, entered codes. A folder appeared. Project Phantom. Sophia opened it. Fake IP, laundered funds, criminal collusion. Worse than she imagined. She was about to open the last file when a voice cut through the silence. Well, Sophia Valdez. Sophia turned. Marcus Langford stood by the elevator, suit immaculate, smile venomous. I thought you were pouring wine, he said. Impressive promotion. The floor went dead silent. Marcus strode in like he owned it. Victor, I came for our pre-signing chat. Imagine my surprise. My old protege is here. Victor stepped between them. Langford, leave. Oh, I'm welcome, Marcus said smoothly. Rebecca, Edward, tell him. The deal is clean. This fugitive is lying. Edward nodded frantically. She's a criminal, Victor. Sabotage. Marcus smiled. Her word against your team, the auditors, the establishment. Who wins? Sophia gripped her desk. You're right, Marcus. The new evidence is circumstantial. Victor looked devastated. Marcus grinned. Victory. But I have one thing left, Sophia said. She pulled an old USB drive from her bag, the one she'd carried every shift for 4 years. When I fled, she said, they took everything. But they missed this. My backup from 2021. The original algorithm, and your original fraud blueprint. She plugged it in. Split screen. Left, 2021 fraud code. Right, current Nexus code. Identical. It's not my word anymore, Sophia said. It's your code. Twice. Your confession in binary. Marcus went ashen. Victor spoke coldly. Rebecca. Edward, fired. Security, out. Police downstairs. As they were dragged away, Victor faced Marcus. You came into my world. Tried to steal it, using the woman you betrayed. He picked up his phone. SEC now. Deal dead. You're finished. Marcus lunged at Sophia. You ruined me. A bodyguard stopped him cold. Marcus hit the floor. The battle was over. Sophia shook. Victory tasted like ashes. Could she return to this world? Victor approached. Head of Risk and Strategy, Harrington Global. Name your terms. We'll clear your name. She took his hand. The trial was swift. Headlines screamed, Waitress brings down Titan. Sophia hated the label. She wasn't defined by waitressing. She was the mind that exposed evil. Marcus pleaded guilty. 45 years. Effectively life. 6 months later, Sophia was head of strategy, corner office, power suits, massive salary. She rebuilt Harrington, rooted out corruption, designed fraud detection AI that saw everything. But scars remained. She trusted no one fully. Ate alone. Worked endlessly. Then attacks began. Shipments lost. Leaks. Trades targeted. Marcus's old code, weaponized against them. It's him, Sophia said. From prison, pulling strings. The bleeding worsened. Hundreds of millions gone. Can you stop it? Victor asked. Sophia smiled coldly. I'm not stopping it. I'm ending him. For 3 weeks, she let the attacks win. Fed the algorithm predictable moves. Made it arrogant. Then the trap. Leaked rumors of panic selling their massive stake in quantum dynamics. Marcus's program bit hard. Massive shorts. Then, press release. Harrington announces revolutionary alliance with Quantum. Stock explodes. Short squeeze. Marcus's hidden empire obliterated in minutes. It's over, Sophia whispered. Months later, on the rooftop, Sophia sipped black coffee from a paper cup, her old habit. Victor arrived with champagne. A toast, he said. She smiled. Not champagne. Coffee. He set it aside. To real victories. They looked at the city. How does it feel? He asked. Like breathing again, she said. I was the prodigy. Then the ghost. Now, I'm the survivor. She turned. Next time you want advice, Mr. Harrington, it's going to cost more than dinner. He laughed. I'm counting on it, Ms. Valdez. Sophia looked out. They had seen a waitress. They missed the warrior. Intelligence can't be buried. Integrity outlasts wealth. What do you think of Sophia's journey? Did she get true justice? How would you handle such betrayal? Let me know in the comments. If this moved you, like, share, subscribe. Hit the bell for more stories of triumph. Thank you for listening.